The Radiant Path of Seraphine. In the quiet city of Ventspria, nestled within the rolling hills of the Holy Lands, a young acolyte named Seraphine devoted herself to the service of the divine. From childhood, she had felt the warmth of the sacred light within her, a gift that set her apart from others. She trained beneath the wise clerics of the Grand Chapel, learning the ancient prayers, the rites of healing, and the art of banishing darkness with the purity of her soul. But beyond the city walls, the world was not at peace. The dead did not rest as they should, and the cursed lands beyond Ventspria's borders were plagued by the risen corpses of the damned. Villages cried out for salvation, and the clergy could not ignore their pleas. When the time came for a new generation of holy warriors to stand against the tide of undeath, Seraphine did not hesitate. She took up her staff, donned her robes, and set forth. Her early battles were harrowing. The undead were relentless, creatures of rotting flesh and empty eyes, driven by an unseen malice. Yet, each time she raised her voice in prayer, light surged through her, burning away the corruption. She learned to weave barriers of holy energy, to mend wounds with a touch, and to call forth sacred lances of light that turned the foul creatures to ash. With every victory, her power grew, and so too did her resolve. As years passed, she ventured deeper into the cursed lands, facing horrors beyond imagining. Skeletal knights clad in rusted armor, specters that whispered in forgotten tongues, abominations formed from the fused remains of the fallen. She found herself in ruined monasteries where lost clerics had turned into wraiths, in graveyards where the very earth twisted with restless spirits, and in catacombs where deathless priests still muttered their forgotten sermons. Yet, she did not falter. With each battle, she honed her abilities, and the glow within her burned ever brighter. The faithful began to call her Seraphine the Radiant, for wherever she walked, night was driven away. Her greatest trial came when she faced the Lich King of Vremir, an ancient entity that had ruled over the dead for centuries. In the depths of his forsaken citadel, amidst halls lined with the bones of the fallen, Seraphine confronted the being that had defied death itself. The battle raged for hours. Divine light clashed against dark sorcery, the air thick with spells and fury. At last, with a final invocation, she unleashed a surge of pure radiance that shattered the Lich King's form, unraveling the dark magic that bound him to the mortal plane. Wounded and weary, she did not turn back to Ventspria at once. Instead, she sought out the lingering remnants of the Lich King's dominion, purging his corruption from the land. She led pilgrimages to sanctify fallen temples, guided desperate survivors from the cursed regions, and confronted the remnants of cults that still whispered the Lich King's name. When she finally returned to Ventspria, she was no longer an acolyte. She had become a beacon of the faith, a warrior of the divine, an archbishop whose name would be sung in hymns for generations to come. But Seraphine did not seek the comfort of the chapel's halls. There were still shadows to banish, and so long as darkness remained, the radiant path stretched ever onward before her.